Fellas, AC here. Welcome to another review. The most anticipated release of 2021. Dior Sauvage Elixir. Now, everybody has been asking me to review this fragrance. I was testing it because it's such an important release. I'm done testing and I'm ready with my verdict. This is what I got, a 2 ml decant. I've tested it properly. And I want to just give you my thoughts on rather nice fragrance, nice release. But let's start with the name, Elixir. This got me, this wrong-footed me. I automatically assumed it says Elixir means it must be extrait concentration. I do not know the concentration, but it doesn't smell like an extrait. It doesn't behave like an extrait. I've reviewed a few extraits. I love extraits because extraits have a tendency to act like a second skin. They're very fine. They are really silky. It's beautiful. It's an experience. I've reviewed this one. This is Hermès Parfum de Merveille. The other one I haven't reviewed yet is Guerlain Samsara Extrait, one of my most favorite sandalwood fragrances. So extraits have a characteristic which I really like. It's the texture. It's thin veneer. It's very silky. This fragrance is not. So I assumed it to be an extrait. It's not. It doesn't behave like an extrait. So that's one thing I wanted to get it out of the way. In case you're like me and you're assuming this is an extrait or will behave like an extrait, it doesn't. It behaves like an eau de parfum. So let me do a fresh spray. I already have a dry down. And I like smelling it off the nozzle because it smells different than on skin. So I think this is one of those fragrances which smells better if you wear it on your clothes. That's my verdict. Impressions, I should say, not verdict. That's the impression I get. Now, when you spray this, you get a lot of spices. It's incredibly spicy, but for the just first 5 minutes, it's really spicy, as in strong spices and amber. And the moment you spray it, you get licorice, very strong licorice and amber. And this couldn't be further away from the EDT. You know, EDT, you get this ambroxan and you get pepper and metallic vibes. None of that. This is so far away from the EDT that you can basically call it a different fragrance. It's not even a flanker. Let it settle a bit. When it starts to settle, the fresh woody and the rich spicy amber, it's a contrast in one bottle, and I really like that. So the top notes mention nutmeg. There could be nutmeg here. The top note mentions grapefruit. I don't get that freshness of grapefruit, but I get the spicy freshness of licorice coupled with maybe nutmeg. I do not know. And a shower gel smell. The thick shower gel smell. This is the time when I started thinking about Pasha Parfum. If you remember, last year I reviewed it, and that was the first time I encountered a compound called ambroxanide. And it's a very strong compound. It's in the same family as ambroxan. It's got a very beautiful smoothness to it, and it smells like shower gel, very dense. Here, it's very dense shower gel. I'm not suggesting that they've used ambroxanide, but I'm saying they've used something in the same ballpark as ambroxanide. So it's shower gel smell with licorice. You might think this is not going to work. It works. The spice is sitting on top of that thick shower gel smell. So at the moment, it's very out of balance. It gets beautifully blended and balanced later on in about 15 minutes or so. And then in about half an hour, there's another twist in the tail. And then I'm reminded of Beau de Jour by Tom Ford. And it's that same ambery, aromatic fougere, barbershop, whatever you want to call it. That smell is there. And it's very evident when you smell it off the nozzle. And I quite like smelling it. It smells as if the heart of the fragrance is aromatic fougere, wrapped in that thick shower gel smell, and then sprinkled on top is licorice and some spices, maybe nutmeg. And then I also get a smell of pine. Yeah, not pine resin, simple pine like it used to be in the 70s and 80s. So aromatic fougere, which has notes of lavender. There's lavender here, but I don't get lavender, but I get that resinous bois de jour like smell. Spicy fougere with pine, and pine has not been mentioned in the notes breakdown, but I definitely get pine, especially from the nozzle. So green, I'm getting pine now. I just immediately got pine. Green, thick shower gel mixed with spices. That's the scent. Yeah. When the scent dries down towards the later stages, it loses all that spicy imbalance, if you like, and that piney barbershop smell that goes or recedes, and you get a spicy, earthy patchouli, that shower gel smell, more amber, and a little bit of vetiver, touch of vetiver when you focus. This is dry down. This has got a dry synthetic sandalwood smell with that shower gel. So that's why I said parfum. Nowadays, you know, these guys just copy each other, right? So it's quite possible that the two most brilliant releases in terms of designers are present in this fragrance. Pasha Parfum from last year, 2020, and Bois de Jour by Tom Ford. And those two compounds, from the predominant compounds in those two fragrances, suggests to me the fragrance smell that they're present here. So basically marrying shower gel smell with a heart of aromatic fougere, light Bois de Jour, and then a little bit of touch here and there of sandalwood, little licorice, little patchouli, little vetiver, that sort of thing, you know, just to give it a little unique signature. It's a fusion. It's almost as if you're spraying Pasha Parfum and then layering it with Bois de Jour roundabout. That gives you an idea if you smell those two fragrances. So that's the fragrance, yeah? Unique, very, very different than the EDT. It's not even in the same family. It's not even a distant cousin, yeah? So, pros and cons. So number one pro, the fragrance is blended with contrasts and it maintains that beautiful, smooth, elegant contrast. I like the way it brings in two contrasting smells and creates a very smooth kind of a blend. I like this. It's interesting. I really like that shower gel smell. It's quite strong. Smell mixed with that aromatic fougere and the spices. I like it. It's enjoyable. It's different as well. As I said, it's like layering two different fragrances. That's number one pro. Number two pro. This fragrance has been created with the same gentry in mind that they created Parfum. Parfum is for people who like a little bit of smooth, elegant, sophisticated fragrance. This fragrance is exactly that. It's for those people who like a little bit of a reserved elegance. It's not a screamer like EDT was, but, well, we'll come to that later on. So this is an elegant fragrance. They've kept that elegant touch of the fragrance alive with Elixir. Number three has to be the performance. The fragrance has got stupendous performance. In terms of longevity, this thing sticks to your skin for more than 24 hours. You know, I can guarantee you if you put it on your shirt, it will be there for weeks. It's a very, very strong fragrance. As you can see, a tiny little spray, and I'm having trouble speaking. So terrific performance, huge longevity, massive sillage, massive projection. You know, those are the three upsides. Downsides. Now, people who are approaching this fragrance from the EDT standpoint, the fresh, metallic, very on your face kind of a loud fragrance, they will be utterly disappointed. They will not like this at all, because this is a completely different genre. Not genre, but different character to Sauvage, yeah? So they will be disappointed immensely, yeah? So it's not, that sort of DNA is not there in this fragrance. Number two, people who are expecting a very rich elixir-like experience, if you're very experienced with fragrances that are extrait concentration, as I said, count me, they might get a little bit disappointed, because the moment you write elixir, people assume it's an extrait, people assume it will behave like a very expensive extrait, you know. It doesn't. It smells like an EDP, yeah. And number 3, obviously, you're spending a lot of money and you're getting something which still smells synthetic, shower jelly. So the value for money quotient, I think, is low here, but we'll come to that a little later. But those are the 3 downsides. Now, age groups. This is, again, for the slightly mature gentry, you have to like aromatic fougere genre, and you also have to like shower gel smell. So I don't know where this is going to fit in, because I've seen that most people who like the vintage fragrances despise that shower gel smell. Unless you're like me, who tries to like everything, and I quite like this fragrance. I enjoy it. But I'd say this is strong. 30 plus. 30 plus is the right age group for this fragrance. Season, autumn. It's so spicy initially, and the thick resinous shower gel smell immediately points me to colder weather. And because it's spicy and because it's ambery, I think autumn is the best weather. I haven't had the chance to test it in winter, so autumn would be the right weather. Occasions, evening time. It's very dense, yeah, and very shower jelly. I think you can wear it if it's really cold during daytime, but this is more or less a clubbing, party, social occasions, outdoorsy fragrance. When I went outside, I was smelling amazing. This smelled amazing outdoors. So, and it's quite cold nowadays. I mean, this is sub 10 at the moment in the evening time, and I was enjoying it. I really was loving it in the air. Whenever I was moving, the smell is really nice. It's ambery, shower jelly, spicy fougere. I liked it. I enjoyed it. So, compliment factor. Obviously, it's going to be depending on who smells you, but I wouldn't doubt that you wouldn't get a compliment. There's nothing offensive in the scent, apart from the very spicy nature initially. And if you're in a close encounter situation, and if you went 2 or 3, God help you, because it's going to absolutely suffocate the woman. Yeah. So be careful with the number of sprays, especially if you're in a date situation, close encounter. You wouldn't want to go too many sprays. It's really strong. I think I've covered all aspects, haven't I? Value for money. Let's talk about performance. So longevity, I've already talked about. Strong sillage, yeah? Especially when it's cold and it's a little bit breezy, you'll smell it. For the first 3 or 4 hours, no trouble. Projection, again, I think it would be at least an arm's length for about 2 to 3 hours, at least. Yeah. If you went 2 or 3 sprays on your shirt, as I said, I think people will have no difficulty smelling you. So performance is pretty strong. So value for money. 65 ml for 110 pounds for a fragrance that smells like an eau de parfum. I'm having difficulty. See, I didn't have any difficulty in buying parfum. It smells so beautiful. It's so gorgeous. I know there's not a huge fan following of the parfum. I love the parfum because of the sandalwood and the olibanum note. It's beautiful. So I didn't have any problems shelling the money required for the parfum. I think it was 95 or something like that for 100 ml. 65 ml for 110 is a steep ask for me. So value for money for me has to be low. I don't think this is worth 110 for 65. It's almost £2 an ml. So yeah, for me, value for money is low. So marks out of 10. See, this is still my favorite parfum. Sauvage. Yeah. But Elixir does not even come close to dismantling it as my favorite Sauvage. But leaving aside my personal biases, I still think this is a very good fragrance, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 because of the contrasting nature, and designers hardly do that nowadays. Designers play very safe. This one doesn't play safe. It tries to create a new experience, bringing in 2 different, completely unrelated type of scents, and somehow manages to blend it together and make it beautiful. So I still think this is a very good fragrance, 8 out of 10. I still think this is one of the best releases of 2021. So, hope you enjoyed the review, fellas. Take care. Bye-bye.